welcome to this episode of Cannesversations. I'm your host, Stephanie Beach, and I'm here with Sylvie from Human. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to be here.
Amazing.
In this beautiful, I mean, it's a little bit rainy right now.
We're hoping we don't get rained on.
Same. But I'm really loving Miami. How are you loving it?
Amazing. Love it. What's not to love?
Right. How is the conference going for you this week?
It's very overstimulating. It's a lot of people, but it's also a lot of amazing content and opportunities to network and imagine and think about where our industry is going. So it's great.
That is great. Anything that sticks out to you so far?
Nothing in particular. I just think there's a lot of everything.
Okay.
And at some point, I guess this part sticks out. It's just a sense of like so many vendors. And I don't know how sustainable in the long term that will be for everyone to survive at these little itty bitty companies.
Yeah, I see consolidation happening.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's like the cycle of our industry.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So, being from Human, I hope you have a good answer for this first question. What do you think percentage of traffic is not human on the internet?
So glad you asked, because I actually know for a fact 50% is not human.
So as you know, Mike and I split these interviews and someone actually said 51%. So they are almost...
All right. Well, I'll give them the 1%.
Yeah, 1%. I know it's not like Price is Right rules.
Yeah,
but
exactly. We'll
give it to them.
We'll give them to them.
All right. So what's at risk if brands keep optimizing towards bad outputs?
Towards brand outputs?
Bad outputs.
Bad outputs. Well, they're wasting a lot of media money, number one. They're wasting a lot of creative resources, and they're kind of screwing up their numbers, because when you look at the data, your transactions, whether you're optimizing against a sale, an acquisition, or whatever your ultimate KPI is, are going to be totally screwed and look way worse than they are.
They are. And it's so important. And I love everything that you named, because it kind of works hand in hand. It's everything working together to make the output what it is. So if you have your creative right, but you don't have your media right, or, it kind of goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's getting harder about maintaining trust in the ecosystem?
I think everything is getting harder about maintaining trust. I think Shelley Palmer did actually a really good masterclass yesterday. And the one thing he said was our default should be distrust. And people tend to somewhat be trusting, but we should really actually be not trusting of things. And I think that is just a really good point, especially as deepfakes and so many other things in AI make it easy to believe that you're talking to a human, or that there's someone on the other side that is like you, but when in reality it's not. So I think, in generally speaking, as human beings, we're all going to have to really think twice about whether or not, is that a human, is that a person, is that someone I actually trust or not.
I feel like that's happening now. I feel like, especially with AI creative, so many consumers aren't sure what to trust. And then there's some that are just totally oblivious to it, right? I guess it depends on your level of awareness to it. And I also think geographic location makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I don't have a problem with AI creative as long as it's not the AI slop. I think the problem is, and going back to your trust question, is if you don't know whether or not the quote unquote person, let's just assume it's a person. Let's actually go with the 50% or 51. That means 49% of your traffic are not human beings, right? And they could be robots, it could be agents, it could be LLM crawlers. How do you know if you want to trust them or not? To me, that's really the biggest question. Even if your creative was driven by AI, that's okay. But if you're transacting on behalf of an agent or some non-human entity, you need to be able to trust that third party. And that is where it's really, really critical, because all the things that we talked about before come into play: media waste, fraud, inefficiencies, all that stuff.
Yeah. Trust has been a big topic this week for sure.
Absolutely.
How do you actually know if traffic is real on a platform?
You have to measure it. And you have to use a trustworthy partner to measure it. And you need to really be able to look at the data. And I would say what I think is really interesting about Human is the level of sophistication that we provide in the analysis, because a lot of companies can just tell you superficially the makeup of your traffic. Was it, let's say, an LLM or a browser, an agentic browser, or what have you? I mean, some companies do that. But we go really a lot deeper so that you can really see where it was coming from. And is that a real ChatGPT? There's a thing now, did you know about this, called a spoof ChatGPTs?
No.
Yeah. So they make it look like it's ChatGPT so that your analytics and your web dev team think
Oh gosh.
that it's real, but it's actually not. So you really need to be able to have a partner that you trust who can give that level of sophisticated analytics so that you can analyze your reporting and really understand what's going on.
What do buyers misunderstand about the traffic they're paying for?
I think buyers need to start being more aware of the traffic that is coming to their site and whether or not it is authentic traffic driven by a human or not a human. And then if it's not a human, buyers need to really understand and have policies and guidance and guardrails around what do they want to allow to come onto their site and make transactions on a human's or a company's behalf. As we move to a world where machine talks to machine instead of machine talking to a human, it really changes the entire dynamic from your creative, because obviously as a human, when you talk to me and I want to buy a product, I want to feel loved or empowered. I want an emotion. I want a reason to buy you. When you're talking to a machine, obviously that whole creative angle, they don't care. They want facts. They want figures. Am I trustworthy? And so I think buyers need to be really thinking long and hard about that, not just obviously the creative side, but really the transaction side. What do I want to allow on my site?
Yeah.
What are the policies I want to put into place? And it starts with visibility. If you don't know who's coming to your site, you don't know what kind of strategy you need to put into place.
I agree. And I think that part of that you need to think about too is not only who your audience is, but the demographic of your audience and the generation of your audience, because you're also going to connect with them in a different way and communicate in a different way. And all of that has to play together.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's true for humans, which is where more of the fun will come in, and we can sort of segment our messaging and our approach. But when you're talking to a bot or, again, a non-human, all of that actually goes out the window, right? Because a bot doesn't really care.
It doesn't really care.
Right.
And it doesn't have that authenticity. It doesn't have that connection. It's just,
exactly.
I'm very interested to see how and where that goes in the future and what that turns into, because I have lots of thoughts.
I know.
We could be here for a while.
I know. I mean, we all are. And I think that's the point that we're trying to make right now is we got to get in front of this as we're starting to see the data come through that more and more agentic browsers and agents are actually taking action on your site. What are we doing about that? Right. I don't think the industry yet is completely plugged in. I think we're talking about a lot of other AI things that we're hearing this week, which makes sense. But to me, it's an and not an or. We need to talk about all those things and talk about the other aspects of what's actually happening on your site now that the agents are sort of like gone wild.
Yeah, I know. I mean, AI has been such a big topic for the last 2-3 years. And I feel like it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And we're going a mile a minute.
Absolutely.
And, you can't slow down, but it's just like, where is this all going?
Yep. And where do you need to focus, right? If I'm on the marketing side, what I'm thinking about is where do I need to spend my time?
Right.
Where do I need to spend my energy, my team's energy? And who are the companies I want to work with that can help me accelerate that work?
Yeah, absolutely. Ready for some rapid fire?
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Underrated or overrated? AI in marketing?
Overrated.
Okay. Safe bet or risky bet? AI agents in purchases?
Risky bet.
One thing that matters more than people think?
Traffic to your website. No surprise there.
No surprise there. Well, thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you too. This was great.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Human, for making this all possible. And I hope you tune in to the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.